Kyle Duncan and Tim Legler were breaking down Zion's NBA debut. I mean, once he got going, it was a tremendous sequence there in the fourth until the medical staff, they were the only ones who could stop him, apparently.
They essentially were, right, Hannah? It was a slow burn turned flaming hot torch. Let's go to New Orleans. He hadn't played a meaningful game since March 31st. No disrespect to the Summer League. But there he is, all smiles. He had a shirt on that said, "Let's dance," which, of course, what he said to Pelicans fans after he was drafted early on in the first quarter legs. Because, again, we knew there would be some rust, but you've got to love here what he does.
Yeah, he's got great vision. It's something that people are going to come to appreciate about him. He can see the floor, and he's a willing passer, and he draws so much attention. If you're a weak side cutter, you get rewarded like Brandon Ingram.
Only played 4 minutes, had 1 assist, and was 0 for 1 from the field in the first quarter. In the second quarter, again, we knew he could dominate on the inside, and he does it here at an NBA level.
So quick off his feet and so strong. You see the way here, he just throws Trey Lyles out of the way, misses the first one, he picks it up and gets that thing up to the rim before anybody else can react. This is a vintage Zion Williamson type of play. The ball's on the ground. Watch how quickly he gets this thing from the ground to the rim. And 2 defenders around him, neither guy reacts, and he lays it in his first points.
So Zion, through 3 quarters, only played 12 minutes, scored 5 points. Here's Alvin Gentry and how they get him involved in the fourth.
In the limited minutes you've seen Zion on the floor, how would you assess how he's done?
Oh, he's going to be fine. Right now, he's just playing so conservative. He won't play that way. I'm not worried about him. We'll get him where he needs to be.
So here we go. This is what everybody was hyped about. Pelicans down 8. Lonzo Ball finds Zion. Wait, what? From 3? Okay, that's fine. Every once in a while, people can hit a 3. Next Pelicans possession. That's the Zion that we have come to know and love. Off the alley-oop, 5 points in 30 seconds for Zion. Zion's mom is loving it. Next Pelicans possession. Gentry's going to see Nicolo Melli. You see him there, into sub for Zion. He gets another look from 3, and he hits another one. The kid is rolling in the deep. He stays in. Gentry's like, you know what, Melli, you can go back. Next Pelicans possession. Zion. He wasn't perfect. The kid would miss. Misses his first shot. And then grabs his own rebound and finishes. 10 straight points for Zion in 4 possessions. Take a look at the counter at the top, and he's not done. After a Spurs basket, New Orleans down 5. Come on. Come on, Legs. Another 3.
Listen, feeling it.
Drew Holiday would say, after the first one, I was like, okay, cool, like, that's cool. After the second one, I was like, all right, Zion, you've been practicing. After that, the energy went absolutely crazy. Everyone's fired up. 13 straight points for Zion. Next possession. His 4th 3 from straight away. We're going to get Leg's perspective on why all of a sudden he is a deep threat, because that's not anything we contended for. 16 straight points for Zion. Pelicans take the lead. Here's how his last 3 buckets sounded on ESPN Radio.
Up top, Lonzo. Stutter step back to Zion. Oh my, step back 3. Left wing! Swish! No! This is not happening!
Welcome to the NBA, big brother.
Oh, this is happening. Zion, 17 points in 3 minutes of a game. But, of course, he was on a minutes restriction. 15 to 20 is what they said. He played 18 minutes, so he would go to the bench with 5:23 to go, and the Spurs essentially would not look back. Zion would say, look, I'm 19. I'm not really thinking about longevity. I'm thinking about winning. But he had to trust that the coaches knew and trainers knew what they were supposed to do. But Zion, 22 points in 18 minutes. Wow.
It was everything I dreamed of, except for the losing part. Just the energy the crowd brought, the energy the city brought. It was electric, and I'm just grateful that they did that.
Pretty sure Sean wouldn't take Drew Brees out in that situation. Okay, but I think we've got to be smart about it. I think he made his point, and I think he'll continue to get better, but we can't sacrifice his whole future for one short-term thing.
I'm 19, honestly. In that moment, I'm not thinking about longevity. I'm thinking about winning that game. So it was very tough.
Yeah, Zion, before he was pulled from the game with that minutes restriction, became the first player in NBA history to score 20 points, grab 7 rebounds, and make at least 4 threes in fewer than 20 minutes. He's just the second player to score at least 20 points in fewer than 20 minutes in his debut, also joining Johnny Newman, who had previously played 5 seasons in the ABA before that NBA debut. So 22 points, the most in a debut in fewer than 20 minutes, 4 for 4 from threes. First player ever to do that or better in his debut. He had never made more than 3 3-pointers in a game during his time at Duke.
You got to hate it for the people that were like, oh, this was so hyped by halftime and turned off the game.
It wasn't even a sellout, by the way, in New Orleans, which is crazy.
Insane to
right?
me. So that consecutive 17-point run, what stood out to you in that run?
Well, I think, look, you saw some things that we all know that he can do, right? The explosiveness, the athleticism, the quickness, but he's a highly skilled basketball player. And I think that's what you're going to start to see. I thought the first half he was just gingerly running around out there, very tentative, unsure of himself. Once he got the ball to go in the basket a couple of times, it was amazing the way his demeanor started to change. This is right here something that people are going to have to deal with against him in the post. If you're a 4 or a 5, he's just going to be quicker than everybody that he's guarding. And his ability to have that second jump before you're just barely recovering from your first, that's what we've seen about him since he was on the AAU circuit. So the question was always, well, can he do this against the best of the best, right? Grown men in the paint. Right. And you saw last night, even against some of those guys. I mean, the one he went over the top against DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan's an elite level athlete wing in this league, and he's about the same height. Zion went to a different level on that lob, and the look on DeRozan's face was kind of like, how did that just happen? So you saw a lot of that come together for him all at once. I'm glad that he was able to leave there with something tangible about what it feels like to be a star. Because prior to that point, that 3-minute stretch in the fourth quarter, you know, it was just like, okay, let's just get through this without getting hurt.
Sure.
He leaves feeling a lot different about his night, obviously.
And something that no one expected, and that was the 4 for 4 from 3-point range. So he couldn't move during his rehab, but he could hit spot-up jumpers. And apparently he was doing a lot of that. You think back to, like, maybe Dirk Nowitzki as being, like, the OG of, like, the big man who can hit the threes from the outside. I mean, how much of a good sign is this for Zion if he can hit these threes consistently?
It's phenomenal because the ones he took at Duke, it was a set shot. It was a college line. You know, kids were terrified to come out and close out on him, so he had all this time. I honestly didn't know going into his NBA career, was he going to have NBA range? How consistent would it be? Would this even be something he's incorporating to his game? But obviously, and he alluded to it, he's been working on his mechanics in the time that he's been off. It's the one thing you can do when you're rehabbing a knee injury. But here's the other thing he has going for him. Even in an NBA game, he's going to have a ton of time because 4s and 5s are going to be reluctant to close out on him. You saw LaMarcus Aldridge was tentative because he's so quick off the dribble. If you're a 4 or 5 and you close out too much, right, he's by you, and then who's the last line of defense in that situation? 1s, 2s, and 3s, small guys. Zion's going to overpower you in that situation. So nothing makes you a better shooter like time. And Zion is always going to have time so he can selectively take the threes that he wants. And as a result, he might have some nights like this. But, I mean, who expected him to catch fire like that on a night when he really hadn't done much offensively?
Yeah, it was so cool.
And who expected after one game that Zion would have more career threes than Ben Simmons? Right? Like already.
Absurd.
It'll be fun. They host Denver tomorrow night, they're back on ESPN. Boston comes to town on Sunday at 6 Eastern, so that'll be.
That LeBron would be playing the same night that Zion made his debut, considering how great those guys were coming out of high school and to make their NBA debut to much anticipation. By the way, LeBron and the Lakers in New York taking on the Knicks. He'd averaged 28.4 points in his career at Madison Square Garden, third all-time behind Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. And he came out like, yo, this ain't just scary. This is about to be legendary. 19 first-half points for LeBron. He finished with 21. More on him in a moment because AD needed to shine as well. He struggled in the game against the Knicks out in L.A., finishing the season low 5 points and 2 of 8 shooting. This game a little different. Matter of fact, LeBron and AD had 30 points in the first half between them. The rest of the Lakers had 18. Fourth quarter, Lakers up 6. Trying to get some feel-good after what happened to them in Boston. Tough turnaround, Jay, for AD. Doesn't matter. And he was just straight eating off that Knicks defense. No ketchup, no hot sauce, no nothing. Lakers up 10. Marcus Morris, though, trying to keep his squad in it. That's a 3. He had a team-high 20. They're down 7. They're down 6 with a minute to go when LeBron comes up with a steal on Julius Randle. Kyle Kuzma filling the lane, fundamental basketball. But AD is there as well. Big man run the floor. He had 28 points, 5 boards, 5 assists. After the game, though, New York reporters being New York reporters.
With all the thoughts over the years of Knicks fans desperately wishing that you'd come here, if your son gets drafted by the Knicks one day, will you consider playing with him here?
Man, my son in the 9th grade, man. I'm trying to worry about what project you got to turn in tomorrow. That's what we worried about right now, you know, and that's what's most important. School, home, and being the best big brother he can be.
All right, after picking up 21 points on Wednesday, LeBron now just 45 points shy of passing Kobe, third place on the NBA's all-time scoring list. Now, for future reference, he owns 21 45-point games in his NBA career. That's the most recent one, though, coming back in November of 2018. Will he need